Hello, putties! I have some new comic reviews, as always. They're brought to you by my own self-published works. Caprice and Other Stories, available on lulu.com for $8. Horror Stories, ooh, scary kids. Also, the Red Knight comic book, issue 3 is about to come out, and you can order copies, all three comics, off from me, from PayPal. Just search my email, brother/Justin@hotmail.com, or if you don't use the whole PayPal thing, I understand, you can send a check or money order to my P.O. Box. I'll list all that info at the bottom of this video. So, let's get going. We have some new comics, and this week from DC Comics, issue 6 of Batwoman, and that is by J.H. Williams III, W. Hayden Blackman, and Amy Reeder. Finally, we've heard from the beginning that there was going to be like kind of alternate artists going on between like Williams and Reeder, and because the book was so late for the longest time, Reeder has been just kind of sitting on the sidelines, just wondering when the coach is going to bring her in. This is issue 6. This probably, if the book had started when it was supposed to, we would have seen this run in, like, summer, actually. So, hey, everybody, look at this wonderful cover. It's just a simple, like, awesome close-up that has, a really interesting take on that. Of her, I guess, placing the mask on. We get to see what's happening with these vile killers of children, and it's still somehow connected to the Weeping Woman, actually. And we get to see what's going on through several different points of views. Batwoman and, her dad, as well as Maggie Sawyer, and, let's see, Mard, I guess that's one of the bad guys, and then Kate, who was also Batwoman. Then we see, a confrontation, let me just get to this point. This wonderful action sequence, which uses a lot of big splash pages, actually. I mean, Amy Reeder really does, go to town on these sequences. Look at this beautiful spread right here. I think that's just awesome. I saw that as a preview, and I just really was excited. There's a little bit of what J.H. Williams kind of does right here. I'm sure that's kind of written in the script to do, and this shit is awesome right here. I love it. Amy Reeder, of course, has a slightly different style than J.H. Williams, but, I mean, how many people have J.H. Williams' style? Let's be honest. Reeder does bring really cool shit to the table. I've always thought she had kind of a combination of Western and Eastern kind of like styles. There's kind of almost a cartoony, almost manga-ish kind of feel to her work, but still maintaining a very visible Western influence. But that's just me. I love this work. It's very clean, crisp, beautiful. The story isn't as exciting as the last few issues. I think we're still kind of building on top of the first story arc. So I'm going to give this one 4 Ram Chips, mainly due to the art on this one. Love it. Get Batwoman. Great book. Action Comics number 6 with Grant Morrison, Andy Kubrick. And let me just talk about the Andy Kubrick's art for a minute. It is absolutely cool as hell, as usual. I mean, and he works really well, with what Morrison always gives him, which I think is one of the reasons why he just clicks really well with whatever crazy shit that Morrison gives him to draw. He does it, and he still makes it look like, any kind of big, dumb superhero action fun fest, and does it well. The problem with this is, what? Weren't we just doing some kind of Superman origin with him running around in jeans fighting the alien invasion for the first time, and now we're doing this crazy shit? I don't know. It's an interlude that I don't really seem to be into, frankly. It's well produced, well drawn, but I kind of wanted to get back to what you were doing there, Morrison. Not really that interested. I'm going to give it 3 Ram Chips. Powers! Hey! Here's a fun trivia question. of you remember that book called Powers that Brian Michael Bendis used to draw and, excuse me, write with, let's see, Omen doing the art? Yeah, it still exists. Can you believe it? It's over a year late. And we're still going in that, that series of godlike superheroes being killed off, including one of them being killed off on camera during an interview. With her fucking head exploded. And let's see. Anyway, that's Christian Walker and his new partner Sunrise are investigating, and his old partner Dina Pilgrim, who's frankly one of my favorite comic characters of all time. She's just fantastic, and she jumps in. Now she's a FBI agent, or she likes to call the Federal Bureau of Awesomeness. She really does say that in the comic. Start going on in the... Look at this stuff. I mean, Omen just doing some really cool stuff. I think lately in recent years, this book is kind of like backed away a little bit from the big Bruce Timm influences, and it's really kind of got a nice kind of loose style that I'm really loving. Also, I love the dialogue. The dialogue, I mean, I barely have to talk about, Bendis books and dialogue. The dialogue is always just top-notch and wonderful. Also, I do recommend reading Bendis' apology for being so fucking late in the back. It's actually worth a read. Oh, really dug this. I missed this book. I hope next year the next issue will be just fantastic. This is 5 gram chips. Go back, pick up previous issues if you've completely forgotten about it. It is worth a read. Now, let's go to the best comic of the week. What could that be? It's Only Adventure Time from Kaboom Comics. And who did this thing? Pendleton Ward, Ryan North, Shelley Parloline, Braden Lamb, and there is a backup story, My Cider the Mountain, written and illustrated by Aaron Reiner. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I really do love Adventure Time. I think it's actually a brilliant series, and it's I really do see what was in the early SpongeBob episodes in this, except I think these are even better than SpongeBob at its peak, frankly. If you're not familiar with the series, it's a Cartoon Network show. It takes place in a magical fantasy land. Yeah, the land of Ooh, and we follow the adventures of Finn and Jake. Finn's a human, Jake's a shape-shifting dog, and they have adventures together. And in a world that seems like it was designed by 12-year-old potheads. But it's a really clever show, and it's very funny. And, they have a whole bunch of friends. I can't even look at these characters without smiling. I mean, they instantly cheer you up when you look at them. The first page kind of pays tribute to the opening sequence. Then, in case you're not too familiar with Adventure Time, it does give you brief character bits right here. And then we go to there's creepy, scary, skeleton, gooey, evil guy who is sucking up the entire portions of this world into his bag, which is kind of a TARDIS bag. It has it has a universe of room within, and they're trying to stop him. Doing all sorts of crazy stunts, like the Jake suit, where Jake stretches all over Finn to make armor, but that doesn't work so well. And then it continues till next issue after. The Ice King is sucked up into the bag. And it does something interesting. It does it does a backup story, which doesn't even feature, they're at the end, but I hope they do this more often, where, this universe they've kind of built within, 1 or 2 seasons is really dense, and, has all these crazy characters. And this one features, this is pretty much Tree Trunks' story, isn't it? With a little bubblegum princess in there. And it's a tiny little mystery with Tree Trunks, and I can almost hear the actress's voice reading these lines, and it's a slightly different art style. It has its, it keeps true to the, character designs, but, it's slightly different than, this is kind of the standard you know, what the show looks like kind of art style, you know. And this one is a little more kind of, you know, it has a little more artistic license. And God, I hope that's going to be the norm. Oh, because if it is, this is going to be a great book. Even if you don't have cable and don't watch the show, I highly recommend, even if you aren't a child, maybe especially if you aren't a child, pick this up. This is worth your time. And if you know any kids, give them this. This is a great thing. You know, I tend to believe that comics don't aim enough towards kids and are missing a completely. They're missing a big audience, and they're only doing themselves a disservice. If you know a kid, buy 2 copies. Give them this. Anyway, push the button, Lindsay.